You're lucky to have me. No one else would want you. My girlfriend's favorite line. Until I walked away, leveled up, and watched her crash harder than crypto in 2018. I'm Alex, 30 years old, male, and for almost 3 years of my life, my world revolved around Jenna, 27, female. My girlfriend, my supposed partner, the woman who loved to remind me that no one else would ever want you. The first time she said it, I laughed nervously. We were lying in bed half asleep and she whispered it like some twisted lullaby. You're lucky to have me, Alex. No one else would put up with you. I thought she was joking, dark humor maybe. But over time it became her refrain, the punchline to every disagreement, the seasoning she sprinkled over my insecurities. Thing is, when we met, she didn't come across cruel at all. I met Jenna at a mutual friend's party, and she was magnetic. She had this spark, loud laugh, wild stories, the kind of energy that pulled every eye in the room toward her. I was quieter, the guy who stayed near the kitchen refilling drinks and pretending to know about craft beer. But she noticed me. She asked me questions no one ever bothered to ask. What books I was reading, why I looked so tired. Answer, 3 jobs to cover rent. When she touched my arm and told me I had kind eyes, I swear my heart almost tripped over itself. Back then, I thought she saw me. Really saw me. But it didn't take long for her confidence to turn into something else, something sharper, meaner. When I'd get home from a long shift, she'd smirk at my wrinkled work shirt and say, God, you look so basic. Imagine if anyone else saw you like this. Lucky for you, I don't care about appearances. Or if I didn't agree with her about some random opinion, she'd shake her head and laugh. No wonder you've never dated anyone serious before. You're lucky I'm patient. At first, I told myself she was teasing. That's what couples do, right? But the words burrowed under my skin, and she knew exactly where to stab. My friends tried to warn me. Nate, 31, male, my best friend since high school, pulled me aside one night after Jenna had snapped at me in front of everyone for messing up a drink order. Bro, that girl doesn't love you. She loves controlling you. I brushed it off, embarrassed. Told him he didn't get it, that Jenna was just fiery. But in the quiet moments when Jenna's laughter wasn't filling the room, I started to realize Nate was right. She didn't want a partner. She wanted a mirror, someone who reflected back her superiority. And every time I doubted myself, she fed the doubt. You think anyone else would deal with your anxiety? Your boring job? Your average life? No one else would want you, Alex. No one. I wish I could say I left then. But I didn't. I stayed, and things only got worse. Jenna had this way of making every room hers. At first, it was intoxicating. Watching her work a crowd was like seeing fireworks up close. Loud, beautiful, a little dangerous. But once the smoke cleared, it was always me left holding the ash. Her favorite line, "You're lucky to have me. No one else would want you," shifted from bedroom whisper to public performance. I remember one night, we were at a bar with Nate and a couple of my coworkers. Jenna laughed loudly mid-conversation, tossed her hair back and said, Alex would be totally lost without me. Honestly, he's too awkward to function. I mean, look at him. Everyone laughed along, except Nate, who stared at me like I was a ghost of myself. I forced a smile, stomach tight, pretending I was in on the joke. But when we got home that night, it wasn't funny anymore. I asked her why she had to say things like that in front of people. She rolled her eyes. God, you're sensitive. I was just being honest. Do you want me to lie and tell everyone you're Prince Charming? Then she slammed the bathroom door so hard the picture frame in the hallway fell off and cracked. That became a theme with Jenna. The sound of breaking things whenever she didn't get her way. Glasses, doors, once even her own phone. Shattered it against the wall because I didn't answer a question fast enough. The next morning, she handed me the pieces with this sickly sweet smile and said, You'll pay for my new one, right? That's what good boyfriends do. And the scary part? I did. Nate wasn't the only one noticing. My sister, Emily, 28, female, came to visit one weekend. She's always been sharp, the kind of person who doesn't let nonsense slide. Within an hour, I saw the shift in her eyes. The tension when Jenna corrected me 3 times about a story detail. The way Jenna made a face when Emily complimented my cooking, like it was absurd anyone could praise me. Later that night, Emily cornered me in the kitchen. Alex, she talks to you like you're a child. Are you okay? I wanted to tell her everything. The constant put-downs, The way I'd started second-guessing my own memory because Jenna swore I was imagining things. But I couldn't. My throat closed up. I just said, "It's fine, she's just tired." But it wasn't fine, because Jenna had a temper that didn't just stop at words. One evening, I came home late from work. Traffic, not my fault. And she was waiting in the living room, eyes glassy from wine, pacing like a caged animal. "Do you even care about me? About us?" she demanded, voice rising. I tried to explain, but she shoved the coffee table with both hands, sending my old laptop clattering to the floor. When I bent down to pick it up, she grabbed my wrist so tight her nails left little crescent marks. "Don't walk away from me," she hissed. For a moment, I didn't recognize her. The person glaring at me wasn't the charming, magnetic Jenna I'd fallen for. She looked unhinged. And then, as quickly as it came, it was gone. She burst into tears, collapsed onto the couch, and sobbed, "I just love you so much, I'm scared of losing you." That was her cycle. Break me down, scare me, then cry into my shirt until I was comforting her. And every time I convinced myself this was love, that she needed me. But somewhere deep inside, a voice was whispering louder and louder. Or maybe she just needs someone to crush. Don't forget to subscribe. Looking back, I think the first real crack in the facade wasn't something Jenna said to me. It was something she did in front of strangers. One Saturday, we were out grocery shopping. Nothing dramatic, just a normal errand. I grabbed the cheaper brand of pasta sauce off the shelf, and Jenna's whole body tensed. "Put that garbage back," she snapped, loud enough that people turned their heads. God, Alex, sometimes I think you'd still be living in a basement eating dollar ramen if it weren't for me. My face burned. I wanted to disappear between the aisles. But she wasn't done. She snatched the jar from my hand, tossed it back onto the shelf so hard it knocked over another, and stormed off with the cart. I stood there frozen, the broken glass and sauce dripping down the shelving like blood. The looks from strangers carved into me more than her words. Judgment, pity, disgust, it all blurred together. That night I told Nate what happened. He was dead silent on the other end of the line, then finally said, "Man, she's not just toxic, she's dangerous." And he wasn't exaggerating. Because Jenna didn't just humiliate me in grocery stores. She escalated into my work life. I work in tech support, unsexy but stable. One Tuesday afternoon, my phone lit up with Jenna's name. I let it ring. She called again and again. By the fifth call, my boss raised his eyebrow. I stepped out to answer, and Jenna immediately started screaming. "So you can ignore me now? Who the hell are you talking to that's so important? Some bitch at your office?" I whispered that I couldn't do this at work, begged her to calm down. That only made it worse. She threatened to drive down and sort things out in person. I ended the call before she could follow through, but I was shaking when I walked back into the office. My boss pulled me aside. "Alex, you need to get your personal life under control. Don't bring drama here." Humiliation layered on top of humiliation. When I got home that night, Jenna was waiting, glass of wine in hand. "So who is she?" she demanded before I'd even set down my bag. I swore there was no one, but she shoved my phone in my face. She'd already gone through it. "You erased something, I can tell," she spat. She didn't find anything, but that didn't matter. To Jenna, suspicion was proof enough. The argument spiraled. She hurled her wine glass at the wall, shattering it inches from the bookshelf Emily had gifted me last Christmas. Red liquid streaked down the wall like blood. My heart was pounding, not just from the noise, but from the realization that one day she wouldn't miss. I spent that night at Nate's place. He didn't say much, just handed me a beer and let me sit on his couch in silence. But before I left the next morning, he looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Alex, she's going to ruin you, and she's going to enjoy it." The worst part? Deep down, I already knew he was right. Still, I went back. Still, I told myself she would change. But Jenna had no intention of changing. And soon, she'd prove just how far she was willing to go to keep me under her thumb. The night it all blew up started small, like most disasters do. Emily had invited me over for dinner. She'd been trying for months to pull me away from Jenna's orbit, if only for a few hours. "You don't even look like you anymore," she told me bluntly the last time she visited. "Your eyes are dead, Alex. Come eat real food and just breathe." So I agreed. But when I told Jenna, her whole face darkened. "Oh, so your sister's more important than me now?" she snapped. I reassured her, said she was welcome to come. That was my mistake. We walked into Emily's apartment and immediately Jenna went on the offensive. "Cute place," she said, eyes scanning the walls. "Guess some people don't outgrow starter apartments." Emily ignored the jab, smiled, and brought out wine and pasta. But I could feel the tension coiling tighter with every passing second. Halfway through dinner, Emily asked me gently, "So work's been rough, huh? You've seemed really drained." I barely opened my mouth before Jenna cut in. "He's fine, he's just dramatic. Alex could stub his toe and act like it's a tragedy." Something in Emily snapped. She set her glass down hard enough to rattle the table. "Do you ever stop putting him down? Ever?" The room went dead quiet. Jenna blinked, then laughed. A sharp, ugly sound. "Wow, Emily, didn't realize you were auditioning for Therapist of the Year. Maybe if Alex wasn't such a pathetic little puppy, I wouldn't have to toughen him up." My stomach dropped. Emily's face went pale. She looked at me, waiting for me to finally say something. And for once, I did. "Jenna, enough," I said, louder than I'd meant to. My voice cracked, but it was the first time I'd pushed back in months. Jenna froze, eyes wide like I'd slapped her. Then she stood abruptly, chair screeching back against the floor. "You ungrateful bastard," she spat. Before I could react, she grabbed Emily's wine glass and hurled it at the wall. Red wine sprayed across the carpet like a crime scene. Emily shouted, "Get out!" Jenna was already storming toward the door, but not before knocking over a lamp with a violent shove, sending it crashing to the ground in shards. The silence that followed was deafening. I just stood there, shaking, staring at the mess. Emily touched my arm. "Alex, you can't go back to her." Her voice cracked, but her eyes were steady. "She's not just hurting you anymore. She's destroying everything around you." But I did go back. I gathered my coat, muttered something about making sure she gets home safe, and followed Jenna out into the night. Emily didn't try to stop me. She just looked at me like she was watching her brother drown. When I got outside, Jenna was leaning against the car, mascara streaked down her cheeks. "I'm sorry," she whispered as soon as she saw me. "I don't know why I do these things, I love you too much." And like a fool, I believed her. But that night planted a seed. Because for the first time, Emily wasn't the only one who saw the monster Jenna had become. And soon, everyone would. Don't forget to subscribe. Update. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up the way it did. Honestly, I wasn't even sure I'd post again, but some of the comments I got, they hit me harder than Jenna ever could. First off, thank you. Seriously. A lot of you saw things I've been too scared or too stubborn to admit. I kept telling myself she was just fiery or passionate, but reading strangers call it what it is, abuse, shook me. Some of y'all didn't sugarcoat a damn thing, and yeah, that stung, but I think I needed it. And to the person who commented, "You're not lucky to have her. She's lucky you haven't left yet." That's been rattling around in my head nonstop. Anyway, here's what's happened since that disaster at Emily's. Jenna didn't let it go. The second we got home that night, she flipped from sobbing apology to full-blown rage. Accused me of teaming up with Emily to humiliate her. Said I enjoyed watching her spiral. She threw my keys at me so hard they dented the drywall. Then she locked herself in the bathroom and blasted music until 3 a.m. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened, made pancakes, kissed my cheek, asked if I wanted to go for a hike, like she hadn't nearly brained my sister with a wine glass 12 hours earlier. But here's the thing. I didn't eat the pancakes. I didn't kiss her back. Something cracked in me at Emily's place. Seeing my sister's lamp smashed to pieces, her face pale with fear, and realizing it could have been worse, that shook me awake. Nate came over yesterday. He looked around my apartment at the holes in the wall, the broken frame, and said, "This place looks like a crime scene waiting to happen." Then he pulled out a duffel bag and dropped it on my couch. Inside, boxing gloves. He grinned. "Figured if you're gonna take hits, might as well learn how to throw them back." I laughed harder than I have in months. Not because I plan on fighting Jenna, God no, but because it reminded me I have people who actually give a damn if I make it out alive. I haven't left her yet. I know a lot of you are screaming at your screens right now, and trust me, I hear you. But walking away from someone like Jenna, it's not as simple as packing a bag. She doesn't just let go. If I leave, I know she'll go nuclear. And honestly, that terrifies me. But here's the thing. I'm done playing defense. For the first time in years, I'm thinking about what I want. And what I want is to take my life back. So yeah, I'm planning something. Not petty, not violent, but something that'll flip the script. Something that'll remind Jenna that the guy she calls pathetic still has a spine. Some of you said I should just ghost her. Some of you said I should burn the whole house down, tempting but no arson for me, thanks. All I'll say is this. If Jenna's favorite line is, "You're lucky to have me, no one else would want you," then maybe it's time I show her just how wrong she is. Stay tuned. The shift started small. So small Jenna didn't notice at first. I stopped apologizing. That was it. For years, every fight ended with me mumbling, "I'm sorry," just to calm the storm. But after that night at Emily's, after hearing Nate call my apartment a crime scene waiting to happen, I decided no more. So when Jenna started one of her rants about me being late, I was 10 minutes behind because traffic was hell, I just said flatly, "Not my fault," and walked into the kitchen. She froze, eyes narrowing like a predator who'd just lost track of its prey. "Excuse me?" she hissed. Normally, I'd backpedal. This time, I just grabbed a soda from the fridge and said, "I'm not apologizing for things I can't control." The silence that followed was deafening. Then came the tears, her favorite trick. "You don't love me anymore, do you?" she sobbed, clutching at her chest like a soap opera actress. But I didn't fold. I just told her I was tired and went to bed. That tiny act of defiance lit a fuse. Over the next week, Jenna escalated in every way she knew how. She showed up at my office unannounced, storming into the lobby demanding to see me. My coworkers watched wide-eyed as she shouted, "Are you cheating on me? Is that why you're ignoring me?" Security had to escort her out. My boss called me into his office afterward, gave me the kind of look you give someone whose life is clearly collapsing. I should have been humiliated. Instead, I felt free. Because every time she lashed out, every time she made a scene, she proved to everyone else what I'd been living with in secret. I didn't have to explain anymore. Jenna was showing them for me. That's when I started planning. It wasn't some elaborate scheme, no hidden cameras, no bank account sabotage, just something simple, symbolic, and devastating. Something that would shatter her favorite line, "No one else would want you," and turn it into a joke she couldn't recover from. I reached out to Emily first, told her I was finally done, but I needed her help. She didn't even hesitate. "Whatever you need, I'm in," she said. Then Nate, of course. He lit up when I told him my idea. "Bro, this is it. This is the kill shot. She'll never see it coming." We spent 3 nights planning every detail. I started moving small things out of the apartment, one bag at a time, to Emily's place so Jenna wouldn't notice. Changed the passwords on everything, streaming services, utilities, even the Wi-Fi she always bragged about setting up. Spoiler, I paid for it. By the end of the week, everything important was in my control. The final piece was timing. Jenna had been pushing me to come with her to a friend's birthday party at this downtown lounge. She loved those events, loved being the center of attention, showing me off like a trophy she could mock later. That's when it clicked. That's where it needed to happen. Public, loud, unavoidable. If Jenna thrived on humiliating me in front of others, then it was time I returned the favor. The night of the party felt like walking toward an execution. Only this time, Jenna wasn't the one holding the axe. She was electric as always, dressed to kill, dragging me through the lounge like a prize she'd won. "Try not to embarrass me tonight," she whispered before we walked in. The words rolled off me this time. If anything, they steadied me. Her friend group was already there. Perfect hair, curated outfits, the kind of people who live for Instagram stories. Jenna loved this crowd because they fed her. She'd toss out little barbs at me, and they'd laugh like she was doing stand-up. Sure enough, halfway through the night, she struck. Someone asked how we'd met, and Jenna smirked. "Honestly, Alex was just lucky I noticed him. Poor guy would still be living off frozen pizza if it weren't for me." Laughter rippled through the table. She leaned in for the kill shot. "He should be grateful. No one else would want him." There it was. The line. Her mantra. And I smiled. For the first time in years, I didn't flinch. I stood up, raised my glass, and said, "You know what, Jenna? You're right. I am lucky. Not because of you, but because tonight I finally realized I don't have to live like this anymore." The table went silent. Jenna's laugh caught in her throat. What the hell are you talking about? I turned to her friends, the audience she craved. For years, Jenna's told me no one else would want me, that I should be grateful she puts up with me. But the truth is, I've got friends who actually love me. Nate, Emily, people who see my worth. And from now on, I'm choosing them, not you. Jenna's face twisted. You can't just… Actually, I cut in, pulling the final card. I can. Because while you've been tearing me down, I've been moving out. My stuff's already gone. Wi-Fi's cut. Accounts are in my name. When you get home tonight, all you'll have left are your wine stains on the wall and your own voice echoing back at you. Gasps around the table. Someone actually muttered, "Holy shit." Jenna's mask cracked. She screamed, grabbed her drink, and hurled it. Except this time I stepped aside. The glass shattered against the floor, spraying her designer heels. The crowd recoiled, and then Nate appeared, like we'd rehearsed it. He clapped me on the shoulder, grinning. Come on, man. Let's go celebrate your freedom. Emily was waiting outside in her car, engine running. I didn't look back. Not when Jenna shrieked my name, not when she lunged at security trying to follow me out. The last sound I heard as we left was her voice breaking, screaming the one line she could never weaponize again. You'll regret this. No one else will ever want you. But here's the thing. People already did. People who mattered. And Jenna? She was left standing in the wreckage, mascara streaked, wine-soaked, center stage in the drama she created. This time, everyone saw her for exactly who she was. Update 2. Well, that escalated exactly how y'all predicted, and then some. First off, thanks again for the insane support. I thought I was just venting into the void, but reading the comments after the last post made me feel like I had an army behind me. Some of you had me laughing through tears. Shout out to the guy who said, "Bro, you didn't just drop the mic, you dropped the whole damn sound system on her head." I needed that. So, the party. You already know the basics, but here's the fallout. Jenna's little meltdown didn't stay contained to that lounge. Her scream fest got filmed. Of course it did. Half her friend group lives on Instagram. Someone posted it on their story before I even made it home. A shaky video of me calmly saying, "My stuff's already gone," followed by Jenna shrieking, throwing her drink, and slipping in her own mess. It spread like wildfire in her circle. By the next morning, I had coworkers asking if I was that guy from the video. Normally, I'd have been mortified. But this time, I wasn't the clown in the spotlight. She was. And Jenna did not take that well. Within 24 hours, my phone blew up with texts, paragraphs of apologies, then fury when I didn't respond. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. We can fix this if you just stop being dramatic. Then the kicker. You'll never find anyone better than me. Yeah, she really went back to the greatest hit after all that. Meanwhile, I was at Emily's place eating pizza with Nate, watching the video on repeat, and realizing how free I felt for the first time in years. Emily cried when she hugged me. Nate just said, "Told you she'd crash harder than crypto." Here's where it gets sweeter. The people who used to laugh along with Jenna's little digs, they're not laughing anymore. A couple of them actually reached out to me privately, apologizing. One even admitted, "We all knew she was cruel, but you seemed so checked out, we thought maybe you were okay with it." Hearing that stung, but at least now the mask is off for everyone. The practical side? I'm good. My stuff's safe at Emily's. Utilities and Wi-Fi are cut, and I closed out the joint accounts. Jenna's been ranting online, calling me a coward, but all the comments are people roasting her. Apparently, the video has made her the toxic girlfriend meme of the week. She always wanted to be famous. Guess she got it. As for me, I'm still reeling, still shaky at night sometimes, still hearing her voice in my head, but every time I doubt myself, I think about the way the entire room looked at her when she lost it. Not at me, at her. I wasn't the pathetic one all along. She was, so yeah. To Jenna, if you're still lurking here like I know you do, your line was wrong. I'm not lucky to have you. I'm lucky I finally left, and trust me, someone else will want me. In fact, they already do. The days after the party were quiet in a way that felt almost unnatural. For years, I'd lived in a constant storm. Every phone vibration a possible fight, every knock on the door a new explosion. Suddenly, there was silence. But it didn't last. 3 days later, Jenna showed up at Emily's apartment. I'd just gotten back from a run with Nate, something I hadn't done in forever because Jenna always mocked me for trying to play athlete. We were sweaty, laughing about nothing, when the pounding started on the door. Emily peeked through the peephole, went pale. "It's her!" Before I could react, Jenna's voice cut through the hallway. "Alex, open the damn door! You think you can humiliate me and walk away?" Neighbors started peeking out of their apartments. Nate muttered, "Here we go," and folded his arms like he was ready to body block her if she tried anything. I told Emily to let her knock herself out, but Jenna wasn't leaving. She screamed, cried, even slid down the door like some tragic movie scene. "Please, Alex, I'll change. I'll do therapy. You're my everything." Her sobs turned to shrieks in seconds. "You'll regret this. I made you who you are." And then came the bang. Something heavy smashing against the door. My stomach dropped. Jenna was kicking it, hard. Emily grabbed her phone and called building security. By the time they showed up, Jenna was barefoot, mascara streaked, clutching one of my old t-shirts like it was evidence of a crime. They escorted her out while she wailed, "You're mine, Alex. You're nothing without me." I thought I'd feel fear, but what I felt instead was exhaustion, just bone-deep tired of the cycle. Later that night, Emily sat me down. "This isn't just drama anymore. It's harassment. You need to protect yourself legally." Nate nodded. "Restraining order, man. Don't wait for her to escalate further." They were right. And for once, I didn't hesitate. I called a lawyer the next morning. Meanwhile, Jenna doubled down online. She posted this long rant on Facebook, tagging me, Emily, even Nate, about how I was brainwashed by jealous losers and how she saved me from being a nobody. The comment section was brutal. People weren't buying it. One person wrote, "Girl, we saw the video. Sit down." It should have been funny, but seeing my name dragged through her unhinged spiral made me realize this wasn't over, not by a long shot. Because people like Jenna don't just fade out quietly, they burn out in chaos. And part of me knew she still had one last fire left in her. I should have known Jenna wouldn't go quietly. The restraining order hearing was set for the following week. In the meantime, Emily insisted I stay at her place, partly for safety and partly because she didn't trust me not to cave if Jenna cornered me again. Nate even started checking in daily, bringing food, cracking jokes, anything to keep me from spiraling back into old patterns. And then came Jenna's final act. It was Friday night. Emily and I had just finished dinner when Nate called. "Dude, don't freak out, but Jenna's at your old apartment building." My stomach dropped. "How do you know?" he sighed. "Because she's live streaming it." Sure enough, when I pulled it up, there she was, standing in front of my old door, mascara smeared, holding a box of my old stuff I'd left behind on purpose. She was screaming into the camera, "Look, I'm returning his things like the good girlfriend I am. Alex, come out! Stop hiding, you coward!" Except here's the kicker. I didn't live there anymore. The neighbors knew it, and one of them, a fed-up older lady who'd heard every one of Jenna's late-night meltdowns, stepped right into the frame and said, "Honey, he moved out. He doesn't want you. Get over it." The comments went wild. Hundreds of strangers piling on, roasting Jenna in real time. This is hard to watch. She's unhinged. Bro dodged a bullet. Jenna tried to salvage it, shrieking, "He's obsessed with me. He'll come back, you'll see." But then she slipped, literally, tripped over the box she'd brought and fell flat on camera. The stream cut a few seconds later. By morning, the video had gone viral. Jenna wasn't the glamorous queen bee anymore. She was the punchline. Memes, reaction clips, even a TikTok remix of her screaming, "You'll regret this," over a dance beat. And me? For once, I wasn't the butt of the joke. The restraining order went through without a hitch after that. The judge didn't even need much convincing. He'd already seen the viral clips. Jenna didn't bother showing up to contest it. Maybe she was too busy trying to scrub her name from the internet. The silence that followed was different this time. Not tense, not waiting for the next explosion. Just peace. Emily hugged me the day the order was finalized. "You're free now," she whispered, tears in her eyes. Nate clapped me on the back and said, "Told you she'd crash harder than crypto. Guess I called it." And he was right. Jenna had built her whole world on the idea that I was nothing without her. But in the end, it was the opposite. Without me, she collapsed under the weight of her own chaos. Now, I wake up without checking my phone in fear. I cook meals without someone mocking me. I laugh, really laugh, with Nate, with Emily, with people who don't see me as a project or a punching bag. And every time I hear that old line echo in my head, "You're lucky to have me. No one else would want you," I smile. Because the truth is simple. I was lucky. Not to have her, but to finally walk away. And as for being wanted, turns out the right people wanted me all along.